Hi, Salam Alaikum. Judge Suman Rahim here. Mention of the covenant. Break of the seven seals. Crusher. Brothers and sisters, get out. Get out. America is about to blow. Hear the rumbling? See the smoke? Sparks? All over the place in every aspect of it. Oh, this is unprecedented. Arresting a president, right? Or former president. Unprecedented, right? Unprecedented financial collapses, right? Social unrest, political unrest, economic unrest. Every aspect of this society is under intense pressure. I've been telling you that for years. I tell you, it's getting greater and greater and greater. They're not going to be able to solve their problem. We're going to talk about that in a minute. They cannot solve it. Everything is under stress. Stress means when thumb's under pressure, right? And it's straining. It's under stress. It's under stress. Every aspect of America is under stress. Political, social, economic, religious, right? Even the mind, they're attacking the ability to think logically. I mean, they're attacking the ability to think logically. You cannot think logically. You gotta say a man can get pregnant, right? You gotta say women compete with men in sports, right? And you can just say what you want to be and you it. You know, it's like Wonderland. I want to be this, I am. Right? They attack your very ability to think logically. See? Not they haven't been doing that indirectly for hundreds of years with their religions, but now they're going direct. They're wasting time. You cannot think logically, or you'll be shut down, you'll be condemned, you'll be deplatformed, you'll be in prison. They're imprisoning people for saying things like, oh, well, the election was, everything that, right? Everything's under attack. And that's a sign that they're collapsing. And the fact that they don't have the strength. In other words, it's imminent. Because look at, they tell you in the scriptures, right? They explain scriptures, the sign of what it's supposed to be. Sodom and Gomorrah was a sign of their final collapse. Same thing happened in Rome. In Rome, debauchery, orgies, and it was free fall. Then they were gone. That's always a sign. See, they call it reprobate minds. It's always a sign that your mind is collapsing. See, because what you take to be normal is totally right out not. See, understand? So we're gonna talk about that. But get out, because you don't want to be here when they collapse. It says in chapter 18, it says the voice will tell you, get out, get out. I'm telling you, no one's telling you that. I'm the only one telling you that. Get out of here. Get out. If you can't understand what I'm saying, just get the hell out of here anyway. Go to Africa. Don't go to Europe. Right? Don't go to China. Get the hell out of here. Right? Understand? Just go, run. As fast as you can. We ain't talking about this can happen anytime right now, like a volcano. You hear rumbling, you smell smoke, you see sparks. That means it can go any minute now. Sometimes it may last like a week, a month, or whatever. But you don't stick around for that. When you see that, get the hell out of there. Okay. Get out, brothers and sisters. But I want to talk about a few things today, brothers and sisters. Right? Try to get you to understand. Mind war. That's where the war has been. That's where the war is taking place, brothers and sisters. The mind, thought atmosphere. Tell you, that's where I'm waging war at. That's where all the wars. That's where Prophet Muhammad wages war at. He didn't come with a gun. He came with the Quran. Let me try to explain it to you, brothers and sisters. When scientists write these books, they have to write it for a level of understanding of people at the time, in the language of people at the time. I mean, if they write a book right, in English, and give the people going to Spain, they ain't going to understand that. It has to be in Spanish. But I said the book has to be set in the people's language and from someone amongst the people who can explain to the people, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that beyond what's obvious. Okay, so understand that, right? And so, and those books are written that took away. So the thing is that if you want to talk to first graders, you can't talk in calculus. You talk on a level to understand. Maybe Peter Pan, Donald Duck, Pinocchio, that kind of stuff, right? You might give it those examples, things they can relate to, cartoons and stuff. You might give profound examples, but use those characters they can relate to. That's gonna get their attention. If you start telling about Beethoven and stuff, that's not gonna register. Who the hell is Beethoven, right? Okay, understand that. So that's why in the Quran itself, you don't understand it. Because it's written for people's level of knowledge at that time. So that's why he had to represent God in the way that they could understand it. They had to represent angels in the way they could understand it. See? That don't mean that's the way it is, the way they can understand it. And you tell kids about stories about Adam and Eve, and Cinderella. Those are not real characters, but you can get them to understand a serious point by using those characters, because that's what they do. They used to be anyway. They're trying to get you present certain ideas to children, certain moral ideas, using characters that children can understand. That don't mean those characters existed. Now, a child might assume that and they grow up and never get out of their mind, and that's on them. That's what's happening. But you got people right now, oh man, that's the way, okay, well, if they want to go that way, fine. That means they're lost in the past, they're not going to get to the future. So why am I saying that, brother and sister? Say for instance, Adam. Now, we're supposed to be under the rule of Adam. We're supposed to be under the rule of Adam, right? That's what they tell us. We're under the rule of Adam. Right? Okay. So, but Adam was to make myth shed blood. But he was sanctioned and given authority by God himself. But God's a righteous God. So why would he give someone that kind of authority and then tell the angels, righteous people, to obey them? Because they're not going to, Adam's not going to tell them to be righteous. He's going to tell them what they know. Make shed blood. That's their nature. Because remember, the angels were spoken to as Adam's nature. You're going to make someone that makes mischief and shed blood, not like somebody that just decided to do that. No, that was their nature. That is their nature. Okay? Understand that? Okay. Because you got to start thinking mathematically. I keep telling you, you got to start thinking mathematically, brothers and sisters. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. And you're definitely not going to survive in the hereafter. Because hereafter, this BS is gone. And mathematics is the only true religion. We're going to talk about that. But see, they talk about truth and falsehood and that kind of stuff. See, they talk about on a level people understand at that time. But they also tell you that everything in God's creation is perfect. So how can there be lies and falsehood and all that kind of stuff in there then? I mean, it can't be both, right? Or can it? Because you understand, when you understand mathematically, and mathematics, well, lies, right? What are lies? You think something is not truthful. But the point is that if Adam's going to make myth shed blood, that means he's going to be telling lies and stuff. Yet God sanctioned him to do that. He would be successful at it as long as he obeyed the guidance God gave him. What kind of guidance would God give them? How to make myth shed blood. That's what they were doing. He would give them the guidance to do that. To be effective, efficient at it. Because that's how they would rule. See, all the Sunnis, they're about to have a heart attack now. They didn't have a heart attack in the last 500 years. They're about to fatal one in a minute. You understand that, brothers and sisters? Because that was the truth at the time. That was the truth at that time. That was the truth at that time. You have 4 seasons. The Quran tells you, look at the seasons, look at the creation, and understand things, right? The truth that might be whole truth in the winter. Truth in the winter means you got to wear a lot of clothes on. That's not the truth in the summer. Somebody tell you that in the summer, that's a lie. Well, yeah, it was a lie in the summer. It's not a lie in the winter. Somebody tell you, oh man, you don't have to need to wear any clothes on, man. You can, you don't have time on anything on all. Just minor. That's truth in the summer, but that would not be the truth in the winter. You try to apply it in the winter, you're going to freeze to death. You see, because out of season. A lie is something that's out of season. It's out of season, right? Like the Sunnis, they're out of season. Those people that claim to follow Elijah Muhammad, they're out of season. See? So they're lying. Farrakhan's a liar. They're out of season. And they're trying to tell you that's the season. It's not the season. That's the lie. So they're going to deceive the whole world. For a season, because they're out of season, right? They see the whole world because they make you think that's the way the world is. For them, that was the way the world was supposed to be. That wasn't, Adam making Miss shed blood, that was the truth at the time. Not the truth now. Because if we was out there telling, remember, Iblis told the truth. He said, and he was considered a liar and condemned by God himself. Because that truth he had was a lie for that period of time. It was a lie. That's why we got to be careful these words and things. We got to understand the scriptures. We got to rise above all of that. See? I start thinking mathematically. Okay, when you talk, see, I talk about currents and things. See, when you talk, that's pressure, but it's vibrations. I never really go into vibrations that much. Like, there's a lot of stuff I can talk about, but I don't want to go over your head. And I know I'm going over a lot of people's head, right? Because they're not studying, not thinking. When you speak, that's vibrations, right? And vibration with high frequency, right? The phase and frequency. If it's stronger than lower vibrations, which is the same thing as lower pressure, then right, it's going to dominate the lower frequencies, the lower vibrations. Because vibration is pressure, but it's pressure waves, but it's vibrating. So when you talk, you're vibrating your vocal cords and things. That's vibrations, right? So when you get a book, they give you the frequency and everything, right? To be successful at that particular time. This is the frequency you need. See? Any other frequency won't work. So you have to vibrate this frequency. So we're all vibrating. We're thinking, all that's vibrations. So when you're talking, you're emitting vibrations. And it's going to cause everybody's vibrating, it'll cause other people to vibrate. Now they may resist. If their nature is to vibrate a certain frequency, they're going to resist. And what happened? If your vibration is greater, they're going to keep vibrating and say, blow up. Because it's resonance. See, I don't want to get too deep into mathematics, brothers and sisters, but that resonance, that's the whole story about the wall of Jericho is all about. Right? Hold on, brothers, just for a minute. A second, brothers, since I think someone's at the door. Well, maybe not. Anyway, let me check. Okay, brothers and sisters, pardon me for that. False alarm. Well, I was talking about the walls of Jericho. That story in there, I told you that those books are scientific books, brothers and sisters, but it's presented to you in a way like you're trying to explain something to a child. And when you understand the mathematics behind it, you understand what they're really trying to say. So what they was told to do is sing this song, right, and walk around these walls of Jericho. They had impenetrable walls. These walls are so thick and strong that nobody could overcome those walls. So people thought they were safe behind it. And so they supposed to walk around it, I think 7 days, I believe, saying the same song, which causes resonance. See, resonance is vibrations, but they build up. So like if you take a hammer and you hit a concrete, it keeps setting the same spot, right? You put energy in there. But every time you hit, you put more energy in there. And if energy doesn't go anywhere, it builds up on that spot, right? So say for instance, it takes 1,000 pounds of energy to crack that concrete. Say it takes 1,000 pounds, right? But you only 1 pound. Every time you hit, that's only 1 pound of force, right? Boom, right? Well, if you hit it with your frequency is quick enough before that energy can spread out 1,000 times, but the same thing is hit at one time 1,000. If it takes 1,000 pounds to break it, right? Like if you hit a wind rod with 1,000 pounds, hit it and crack it, or you can do the same thing with a hammer. It's only 1 pound, right? But you keep hitting it, and you got to hit with a frequency quick, fast enough, so before the energy can disperse, spread out. So it's focused right there. So by the time you hit that last, bam, that's enough to crack it. That's how resonance works. The energy builds up, builds up, builds up, but you have to do it at a frequency, right, before it can spread out. So if you know it takes, like, say it takes 15 minutes for the energy to disperse, right? Then if you can hit it 1,000 times within that 15 minutes, then all the energy will still be right there, boom, it's going to crack. That's the way resonance works. See? But your frequency has to be correct, right? Okay, so you vibrate at a certain frequency. That's how they get those glass to break in those commercials. Because what happened is the glass is glass. Okay, let me say it another way. That concrete is a reaction rate. In other words, if it takes 15 minutes to react, that means your frequency has to be quick enough to do all that damage in 15 minutes before it can react. That's the reaction rate. Everything has a reaction rate. So like glass has a reaction rate. So say for instance, the glass, it takes like a minute to react to any vibration. If you right, and remember, the red glass has so much pressure that it can take before it crack, right? But you applying vibrations, so you sing at a certain level, right? And you applying vibrations to it, right? So if it takes a minute before to react, that means if you do that, keep doing that, and your frequency is so fast, right? Because remember, that's a frequency. So the frequency builds up to the point where there's enough pressure to break that glass before that minute takes place and the glass reacts. Otherwise, if you do it over 2 minutes, right, if the frequency is slower, then it's not going to happen. The glass will react to it, adjust, and the force will be spread out throughout the glass. That's the way it works. The frequency, understand frequency, vibration and frequency, vibration and frequency. See? So you need to know that. So the thing is that, and that's pressure again, but it's vibrating, right? So what happens is that you have a prophet or minister or whatever, they're given a book, right? And they're supposed to speak the book. That's why I just send, don't just throw a book out there, send a person that vibe. See, that's why I pick a certain individual. Don't pick anybody. They pick a certain individual that vibrates at that frequency. That vibrates that frequency. See, because they pick somebody, if they pick somebody that don't vibrate that frequency, it's not going to work. Because they get information out there, but it's not going to cause a change. Because people absorb it before it can cause explode or crack or whatever, right? See, and you want to do it before they have the ability to absorb it. So you have somebody come in with that frequency and with that information, right? And they like Muhammad kept saying that Quran. He was giving that Quran a certain frequency. It wasn't given to him all at once. He gave him a certain frequency. So Gabriel monitored the frequency. He said, okay, he controls the frequency of revealing the Quran. You understand what's going on, brothers and sisters? He controlled. That's why he was given to him a certain portion. He wouldn't get all at once. See, why did he give to all at once? Why didn't he just get it all at once? No, because it wanted to be at a certain frequency. Because that was the frequency you need, right? To cause change, to cause that whole thing to break apart that they had, the whole idea, the whole mindset they had to break apart. Because they was operating at a certain frequency, but you wanted to break that up. All Arabia was operating at a certain frequency, but you wanted to break that up. Because glasses operate at a certain frequency. Everything operates at a certain frequency, right? They have a certain reaction rate. They operate at a certain frequency, they have a certain reaction rate. And so his frequency, right, had to be great enough to overcome their reaction rate. You understand? His frequency had to be fast enough to overcome their reaction rate. So therefore the energy built up and blew that whole thing, blew Arabia apart and changed it. But it also blew away Rome too. You understand? But that frequency won't work now. They're still doing the same thing, not getting any result. Because that frequency won't work now. You understand? They can vibrate all they want. They vibrate, but that frequency don't work now. The only frequency work right now is the angel. The only person that good, person operating at a certain frequency, that's Suleiman, he's operating at a certain frequency to bring, they take and get that information out there, right? Took 7 days to get Jericho to fall. But say it takes 30-some years, right? They're constantly, 24/7, constantly revealing it, right? Until finally, just like it said, will the nation be born today? Because that frequency building up. See, I tell people that people that wants to work with the angel and everything, I says, you be patient because you don't understand what's going on here, right? Because our people, nature operates a certain frequency. See, Elijah, he can only get to the Levites to operate a certain frequency. But like they operate a certain frequency, you need someone that operates at that frequency. They have to operate at the frequency, and they have to have the information, right, to put those vibrations out there, to vibrate at that frequency. And that's the angel, put those frequency, and so therefore eventually, because it's moving them. You see it's moving the world around us right now. The whole world is coming, what, in tune with that frequency. But that frequency, right, those vibrations is causing, because remember when you see that glass break, it start rumbling, it start shaking, is it real shaking? Boom, and then it breaks. Ain't that what's happening in America right now? It's shaking. Look, it's shaking, because it's about to break. It's about to explode. Get out. I'm trying to explain it as simple as possible, brothers and sisters. Get the hell out of here. It's shaking because the vibrations, it can't take it anymore. And the vibrations keep coming. They can try to, like, a tuning fork, that's what a tuning fork does. So I'm the tuning fork. So they think they can destroy a tuning fork. No, that's not going to happen. If they try to do it, that's not going to happen. See? Because what I'm telling them right now, they say, oh man, we got the answer. Just get rid of the vibrator. Me. See? That's course of action. They probably try that again another day. They've been trying it off and on. They haven't succeeded yet. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's happening. So you see the glass shaking. America's shaking at its foundation. People, everybody all over the world look at people. Mexico told people, hey man, y'all immortals, keep your ass over there. Africa just told that's what Mexico just told Biden. Right? What they tell Kamala Harris twice, she's black. What they tell in Africa, get the hell out of here. We don't want your immoral stuff. See, everybody's seeing this place is shaking, rumbling. China's built, they see it. They recognize something's going on because this thing is shaking, the glass is shaking, about to crack. Get the hell out of here. You don't want to get cut by flying glass. And be cut to pieces by flying glass. You understand? Get the hell out of here. It's a mind war. So a lie is just low frequency. It's out, it's low frequency, or it's out of season. And the highest the frequency for this time has to be right frequency. Remember, that glass the frequency has to be just right. Be fine-tuned. And scientists give it fine-tuned, right, scripture. Should be on the right frequency. So it's saying the right song, the right notes. See? They accomplish the mission. And only like you give a song to some person, man, that may sound like a songbird. You get somebody else, man, already sound like same song. See? But they're on different frequencies, so therefore, because when you saw that's vibration. That's why you feel good, man. Those vibrations moving you. When somebody saying the same song, man, you sit there, because their frequency is out of tune, out of place. You know it. It don't sound right. You see? That's why it had to be Suleiman. He's the one that break, because he had to be on the proper frequency, right? To break the seals. No one else could do it, because they wasn't on the right frequency. They wasn't vibrating at the right frequency, because your thinking is vibration. Your whole body vibrates. You may not realize it, right? I mean, was your heart beating? But with that, well, that's a little. Anyway, everybody frequency. I mean, even scientists recognize that, everybody, right? But he had the right frequency, okay? Right wavelength, right frequency. Okay? And so therefore, he was in tune with the angel. He can break the seal. And that's the frequency he had to be on to move Lazarus, to wake him up. And so he keep it on. Like, it took 7 days to bring down Jericho. It's going to take 30-some years to wake up Lazarus. And he's about to... But now you got other people, right? Remember, now, that frequency, they're on the lower frequency. They're the glasses. So that frequency go up, it's going to crack them. Raise Lazarus, shatter them. Because they can't absorb it. See? They can't absorb it. So the reaction rate is lower than the frequency. Their frequency is lower. Right? You see? Make sure you understand this. Reaction rate, right? Okay. If it takes them a long time to react, right? See, because react, that means that you can build that force up on them before it disperses. You understand what I'm saying? So that means if it takes a long time, it means it got a lower frequency. So one way to look at a frequency is like, say you're at Walmart, right? And you say, one person comes through the door every minute. Well, that's the frequency. One per minute. What's somebody come one per hour, that's the frequency. Right? So if you touch water, it had a very, very, very fast reaction rate. Right? You put ripples, right? But you put right in like say for instance what I want to use say you made some dough or something, right, for cake or something, right? You put your finger in it, you can see a little dent, but it's not, The reason why he said dent there, when you put your finger in there, if you got some dough, right, you put your finger, you see a dent, right? Why you say dent? Because it got a low reaction rate. Because it's still, that point, that force pushed right there, and it didn't affect the rest of the dough. That's why you got that pole. If it did, right, like you have Jello or something, it'll push right back up. And you see the whole thing shake, right, because it's got a fast reaction rate, and then it doesn't deform. But if it deforms, that means it's got a low reaction rate, right? So if it's got a low reaction rate, that means that you can distort it. It's like you can distort that dough. You can put holes in it, and they'll stay there because it got this low reaction rate. You understand, brothers and sisters? So the devils have a low reaction rate. So you don't think, right? They have a low reaction rate. It was built that way. And we have a very fast reaction rate. We can stand a lot, right, without being deformed and everything else. That's we can adjust to every situation without being deformed. You see? So we can adjust to every situation. But they can't. It's hard for them to adjust to different situations. So they have a low frequency. We have a high frequency. So Suleiman, he had to come high frequency. He has a high frequency, come with angel, high frequency vibrations. Keep putting them out there, keep putting them out there, putting them out there. And so then eventually, right? Because that's what Lazarus need high frequency information. Because he can absorb it. So he can transform. See what I'm saying? High frequency allows you to transform. Low frequency means you won't transform. And you'll be broken. High frequency means you will transform. See? But you need energy. The more energy you get, the more you can transform. So he needs enough energy to wake him up. Hope you understand, brothers. I think I try to make it as simple as possible, right? So they're resisting. Right? But it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. They're resisting means, right, they can't change. Right? That means the energy is building up in there. They're still vibrating, but the point they're vibrating, and they're sending vibration out. And those vibrations affecting everybody else too, affecting us. So you got two conflicting vibrations, right? But ours is high frequency, it's low frequency. And then once you crack theirs, there's no resistance, so now the high frequency, right, permeates, right, everything. See? Another way of looking at it, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even go into there. Let's say, for instance, what I'm talking about, if you look at it a more physical way, say in a boxing ring, right? Now, if you throw a lot of punches, you control the other boxer. Because he spends all his time blocking punches. So if he's blocking punches and hitting you, so one thing you want to throw a lot of punches. So you're controlling his movement because he's in defensive mode, blocking your punches. Now, if you're really smart, right, you can give him the block. You know he's going to block him, so you throw a punch a certain way, then he leaves himself exposed in another way, and that's when you knock him out. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's got to defend. He's been all the time defending, right? So if you give him somehow maybe he needs to spin it. Maybe feel you make him think that you concentrating a lot of blows, right, towards the midsection. So now he's doing all trying to, right? They leave his head exposed. Bam. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, you're controlling, right, that person. You're controlling their frequency, right? You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? That's a kind of physical way of looking at it. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if you want to look at, what's happening, because they're taking, that's what the techniques that the scientists will use, right? Because like a military, I said we're in the atmosphere right now, but we're going to be in a military field in a minute. And then we have to start using things like that, see? Because the point is you want to be effective. You're going to win, but you want to be effective. You want to minimize your losses. So you want to take the enemy out without him taking some of your people out. You still win, but you don't want to lose any of your people. So you got to be wise in that person and get them to get to the point where you not do a knockout blow. So you keep throwing punches at them, and they blocking them. So you know they have to spin it. They got so much energy, right? So they got to use the energy to block those punches. That means that they leave other things exposed. So you want to go to a left hook knockout, and you know that person's vulnerable on the left foot, on their right side, right? Going to a left hook, but then the right side, you know they're vulnerable there. So you keep throwing punches, right, where they're blocking everything else, and sooner or later they're going to leave the right exposed, and bam, that's when you go. Because that's what you want. You say, I just want to get there, right? So you trick them. You say, okay, you think you're focusing on their midsection. So you start guarding their midsection after a while, right? And then next thing you know, bam, there comes that left hook, and gone. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So we can talk more about vibration, about trying to get the 411, the basic. right? Okay, what we have here? See, they've been crucifying us. They still crucifying us for 6,000 years. Really for the last 5 years, right? But I just go 5 years. 5 years they've been crucifying us. That's right. They're still doing it. Okay? They're still doing it. Now they got a devil on there. But it's us they've been crucifying. Okay? Nothing's changed. But now they got to crucify your mind. See, the last 5 years, before they come at you all kinds of ways, but they crucified you, your mind. They crucified your mind. It's like they crucified, return to Negro butts. That's black men. Okay? They know that so-called Jesus was black, right? He says it right there. Okay, let's go into something else here, brothers and sisters. See here, I keep trying to explain to you, your brain is your hardware. Your mind is your software. And religions are, your mind is your operating system. Your brain is your hardware and your mind is your operating system. It tells us how the brain operates, right? Now the brain is designed, that's the way it's built. Think logically. Think logically, that's the nature of it. Think logically, like you have a computer, right? Thinks, right? It's built to operate logically. See? And religions are your operating systems. And they're your operating system. Which operating system have you uploaded? Which one's operating system you loaded? Because the operating system is supposed to tell you how, interface with how things are. Will be productive, right? But none of those operating systems are productive. They can't create anything. None of those operating systems create nothing, zero. There's not a Sunni car, right? There's not a Buddhist airplane, right? There's not a Hindu missile, right? Or Judaism iPhone. None of that. Because those are false operating systems designed to get control of you, take you out of reality, because they have to disarm you to control you. They have to disarm you, let me say it again, disarm you to control you. They got many methods to do that, but religion is the most effective one. And for us, Christianity was it. Here. You see in the background there? That's mathematics. That's reality. Everything around you is reality. You see it, but you don't see it. Everything around you is reality. Everything around you is mathematics. Even including you, your DNA. But you're going to tell me the Creator, He's not mathematical. But everything in creation is mathematical. Everything. There's no exception. You can't find anything. No tangible proof of anything that's not mathematical. Because the background there, that's the universe. That's where it is. But that's not Christianity, because when you got that, right, that looks like an X. It locks you out of reality. Because there's no mathematics in Christianity, none. It's totally outside of reality. And once they put that on you, brand you with that, now you're outside of it. Took your power away from you. They neutered you, right? They took your power of you because your power was in control of reality, mathematics. They took it away. And they adopted mathematics because that's how they control the world, with mathematics. The world's under control by Adam with mathematics. And that's got the guidance from God. Because he taught angel all the names to tell me those if you were right, right? Because he taught them mathematics, right, to rule for their period of time, right? But that mathematics didn't work anymore. But it was the truth at that time. If you want to be successful at that time, that's why he told us to be submit to Adam. Then we'll be successful too if we submit to Adam. He said, how we was successful in Holocaust? Because we was being converted to diamonds. So you might not like the process, but you love the result. You might not like the process, but you love the result. We want to transfer ourselves to and the diamonds, so it would take a tenth pressure to do it. But he had to submit to Adam because he had the pressure, right? That he would to bring about the Holocaust. That would quit. He actually, I mean, you got to give it to them in a way because they're the ones that turned us into diamonds. It was their pressure up us, pressure. Oppression is in the word, oppression. They oppressed us. We oppressed them, oppressed. They oppressed us 40 years. They put so much pressure on us, terrorized us 40 years that converted us to diamonds. Because remember, we have frequency. We can transform. The ability to transform is very limited. But we can, so we can transform from coal into diamonds. Everything we say is consistent in mathematics, brothers and sisters. Right? See? They thought they could transform us into them. But they ended up transforming us into diamonds. We can transform anything. And we need that pressure to do it. If you want a diamond, you got to put a coal under pressure. There's no two ways about it. See, the coal might not like, man, I don't want to go on all that pressure, man, for 1,000 years, man. Man, I don't want to do that. But then he'll love the result, won't he? I'm a diamond now, precious. Still cold. Because you throw that diamond in the furnace, it'll burn just like coal will. It's still cold. Still cold. Still made the same carbon, still the same material. It's just one transformed to a higher state, higher configuration. But believe me, you can burn, diamonds will burn just like coal burn. You would know the difference. If you were to go and put coal down in your stove, well, keep you warm, right? It won't be healthy for your pocketbook. See, so the background is math, but hey, they got you locked out. They stamp you with it. You ain't built anything. We don't have anything. We haven't built anything. You want to build. You want the reparation. You want to get. Who's going to build? Who's the scientist going to supply your energy, your economics, your structure, your politics? Who's going to do that? When you don't know any math, that's what you have to know, learn. And these Negro busts out here right now, especially so-called young men, right? Only thing they know is pull their pants off their ass, show their filthy drawers, right? Got their hair braided all up. Some don't even bother, it's so nappy. I mean, what's wrong with your hair? You hate it? Why are you looking like a crazy man? And that's it. See, they get those demons that bring these stupid styles, and then you adopt them, show how stupid you are. Walking around with slippers on out in the street. You don't get that one? They make fools of you all the time. They say, I'm tired of running after these niggas. So let's get what's his name? Whoever, those rap stars, right? Kanye. Give him come on stage with slippers on. Oh man, everybody's wearing slippers. Now we ain't got to chase these Negroes no more, right? Because now they got slippers, they ain't running too fast. They make fools of you all the time. Why is that? How is that a fashion? How does that make any sense? You see them doing it. Why were they all like they're insane asylum? Why would you want to look like that? How is that intelligent? You don't like your hair? You make it look like a fool. Oh, and that's black and I'm proud? Why is that? And then if you ask them a question, right, what's trigonometry? I don't know. Right? How much is 10 times 7 without a calculator? And you're going to go do deeper. How much is 5, right, times 11, right, divided by 2 plus 6? 5 plus 6. Or without a calculator. We'll make it simple for you. How much is 7 times 11 divided by 11? Now, tell me the answer without a calculator. They can't tell you. But they're cool, hell, looking like they out at a mental institution, right? Pants hang off their ass showing. Half me took a bath stinking. Right? They don't know no math or anything. Can't even talk. Trying to talk cool. They know all about the NBA and NFL. What about your nation? What about building something? And they got a big old cross around your neck. Cross that big. Someone's about to break your damn neck. And you teach that to your children, because you tell them that's the reality. That's not the reality. And if you want something, pray. But then If that's the case, why waste time sending them to school? Why waste time learning? Why have to tell you? If prayer is the tool to bring something into existence based on this, what you claim is reality, believing in Jesus and all that stuff, right? If prayers, then why not spend all your time praying? Why bother cooking? Just sit at the table and pray. Oh, Jesus, I'm ready to eat now. Why not? You say have faith. He answers your prayers. Oh, I want a car, Jesus. Okay, where's the car? Did it pop up in your garage? Is it a Jesus car? Is it a Christian car? Why you got to go to the dealership? Why you got to get a credit check and all that stuff? Why you got to put gas in it? God gave us a gift, right? So why you got to pay for it? If it's a gift, why don't you just pray for $1 billion? Because it's all bullshit. They know it's bullshit. But they got you believing it because that's the point, and they definitely got you because they don't want you to come back to reality, because if you do, you start thinking, and all of a sudden, you want some payback for raping your grandmama, your great-grandmama, and putting stuff in their mouths that shouldn't be in their mouths, and all the stuff they was doing to them, and feeding your great-grandchildren to alligators and stuff. You might want some payback if you had any goddamn sense. Oh, God don't want... What God, vengeance mine, says the Lord. He said, I will repay. Repay what? That means you did something. He ain't saying, I'm going to forgive you. He says, dear Lord, his wrath has come. So you put something in God's mouth. It ain't in his mouth. He ain't tell you just carte blanche forgive anybody. He said, if somebody takes something, just give, they want give more. He said, but he tells you, read the next sentence. He said, by doing this forgiveness routine they're trying to tell you, he says, by doing this, you heap of coals in their heads. You ain't doing it for their benefit. You're doing like a reverse psychology, destroy them. If you understand how the spatial realm works, if you understand the mathematics of energy, then you understand that you ain't giving them anything. What you give them is a heart attack. See? Like if you're a billionaire, you get somebody $1 million, right? And they, I got $1 million. Yeah, well, you maybe killed them getting that $1 million. That gets to the balance. I'm not going to that balance. I get into zakat balance stuff that you don't understand as zakat. The mathematics of it. See. So that's what's happening, brothers and sisters. So they want you to stay out of reality. You don't want you to get no big get back. Because it says what it tells you. Now you want to talk about God's command. It's about the so-called Old Testament. Well, you can't get no more New Testament than Revelation. And it says what? Do unto them as they've done to you. Don't say forgive them. It says do unto them double. It's done unto you. It says as you have done to be done to you. Those commands straight out of the New Testament. You say from Jesus. We want brothers and sisters. So long as you under that cross, they ain't worried about you. Because you ain't going to build no guns, you ain't going to build no missiles, you ain't going to build any kind of technology, anything. That's why we worry about Master Prophet Muhammad, because his technology means you just hit them, because he ain't under the cross. They want to keep you under that cross. As long as you're under that cross, they know you're not any danger to them. But if you come out from under that cross, they know they're in trouble. Because see, this is what the cross do for you. No mathematics, it gives you a universe that's totally confused. There's nothing there. You can't see the angels, you can't see God, you can't see heaven, you can't see a goddamn thing. You can see nothing. Nothing but confusion. See? And that's what you are, confused. You teach the truth, this nonsense. You tell them that they're going to go to heaven after they die. They ain't going, no, why they go to after they die? You're in hell right now. That's why I told you that. Because you're in hell right now with real devils. The devils. See? But what would the devils tell you? Because they told you the truth you would not, like the scripture said, they endured all their life, they endured slavery, all their life, because of fear of death. And with the power of death, slave master, he told us, if you don't obey me, you're going to hell. Never, never, never. There's no place in the Bible that says that. There's no confirmation of that. But they tell you that because if you realize you was in hell and he was the devil, you would have killed him. You would not endure slave for all your lives, like it said in the Bible, the fear of death, because you wouldn't have no fear of death, because you didn't have no when you came over here. No one on the planet had fear of death, but they had instilled on you. That's why they had to drop those 2-time bombs on the Japanese. They had no fear of death. They're called kamikaze. They kiss their family. They have a family reunion, whatever, right? They kiss their family. They put their little, right, their suicide paraphernalia on, right? And they get in their plane and they became living cruise bombers. And they couldn't stop them. I can tell a whole story about a lot of countries, right? They had no fear of death whatsoever. They had to come in and find ways to still that fear. And they did to us by taking our children away from us while they was babies and then raising them up and telling them that lie. And they had no reference, so now they're still spreading that lie. And you're doing it too. Oh man, you're going to go to hell forever if you don't do this, do that. Mm-hmm. You're going to be sorry for doing that stuff, brothers and sisters. You'll be ashamed. So here, now here's the right mind, mathematics. That mathematics gives you the power to say, be and it is. That's what says Suleiman had to come and restore your mind. It was taken away from you. Once you restored your mind, right, you became a great nation. Overnight. A great, powerful army. Overnight. Once your mind came back. Because now you in secret reality. You're in secret universe. Right now, not right now, just point you out of it. You ain't gonna do the same thing that's gonna threaten the mass for nothing. What you gonna produce? Throw a Quran at them? Throw a battle at them? Throw some prayer beads? Like doing in the Middle East? They haven't had a victory in 5 years because they're out of touch. The Quran is good for recital, that's what's called recital, but it's not good, right, for this reality. That's why they fell in it. The Quran is, as far as the West is concerned, been implemented for the last 5 years. They play with the people over there. They play with like their toys. Yeah, they got the Quran. Because out of sync. The Angel is the book for right now. It won't be forever, but for right now, that's the only one that'll get you out of here. Now again, bro and sisters, see this. Operating systems like Windows. Like Windows 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. But the hardware is your brain that you put the software on. The brain's just going to sit there. It's not going to do anything. But you got to upload the software, upload the operating system, and then the two identical brains, two identical computers could be identical in every respect, total. But you got different operating systems that act differently. One's got Windows 5, one got Windows 10, one got Windows 8. Operate differently. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Somebody that do it this time, sure. Oh, I guess someone else got it. So understand that, brothers and sisters? Hardware, it's your brain, operating system. 3 identical computers, identical every way. Got different operating systems, operate differently. So they installed Christianity, which is operating system, and now you implement it. You can't produce anything. They control you. Yet they're using mathematics to control you. They use Christianity to control you, you use mathematics. Understand that, brothers and sisters. Okay, we get to the main Now I'm going to go through this again, bro, since I'm going to add a little more to it. Now we got a 50-year cycle here. They call it Jubilees in the Bible. Every 50 years, the universe is contracting now. See, they don't understand it. They think the universe is going to span forever. They think this Big Bang thing, which in itself is preposterous, because they said, well, the universe was one time the size of an atom. Okay. Well, if you can believe that, then you can believe the Quran version. The Quran said the heavens and earth was one. Right? The atmosphere, all the heavens out there used to be the atmosphere of the earth. So if you believe it's smaller than atom, how come you can't believe that? That's what the Quran says. But it says open and close it. Right? It expands and closes, expands and closes, expands and closes. Tension, pressure, tension and pressure. Right? Tension opposite of pressure. The universe expands, that's tension. It contracts, it's pressure. But their theory is just going to span forever, and then eventually, I guess, it just won't exist. But how did it start? You get to that kind of stuff, right? Where did it come from? But no, it's momentous in the heavens and earth, but it comes above a sudden. That means it's momentous in the heavens. It's a wave, as the universe contracted in the form of waves. Waves comes, and that shows the earth and the universe. If you understand anything about mathematics, the only way that could be worked is the earth has to be the center of the universe. Because the wave coming back, right? If it's not in the center, it passed Earth, or it passed Earth, right? Because it's got to go toward the center, right? If you take and throw a rock into a lake, right? The waves expand, right? But if you reverse it, the span is going to come back to the point where it started from. So if there's something in the middle of this, it's going to pass that and keep on until it get back to the center again. So that's why these are mathematical books, brothers and sisters. And when you understand the map, then it tells you things. It tells you that statement says momentum was in the heavens and earth, but coming above a sudden. That means they're telling you mathematically the earth is the center of the universe. The center. See? Because the waves end up here. And then it's converted to a form we can use. Momentum was in the heavens and earth, but it comes above a sudden. It means the earth has to absorb it, and then it's converted to a form we can use. That's happening right now. Now, the first positive energy wave we got was 1860s. The universe started contracting. That's how we came in energy deprivation, because our energy out there used to be here. So it got to the point where we had very low energy, because we used to be beings that you can't even imagine. Let me say a couple of things on that real quick, brothers and sisters. All life out there, I tell you, all life came from one individual. That means all the attributes out there, attributes of lions and tigers and elephants and trees and all that stuff, they're all DNA. All of our DNA. But all that DNA was in us in the beginning. All of it. That means we was powerful beings. Awesome. We look at the form we look at now. I mean, we had the basic form we have right now, but we had all the strength of the elephant, right? And the dinosaurs and all, and the ferocity of lions, and it was ferocious beings, animals, was powerful. 73 years ago, you can't imagine, right? We had the ability to fly, but we didn't fly. We fly like fish fly. They fly out in the ocean. I mean, they're flying. You call it swimming. That's swimming. They're flying in the ocean, right? Because that's their atmosphere. We had wings back then. Because the wing, we gave the attributes to the birds. All the attributes out there used to be attributes of us, and we took, and that's called evolution. We gradually start with small ones first. We separate and made ourselves more defined till we are right now. We're very defined now because we took all those attributes and gave it to, because initially we controlled everything, right? But now it's okay, we get bees, you control this. Trees, you control, because at that time, right now, we need the trees because it's a symbiotic relationship, because we breathe out carbon dioxide and the plants absorb carbon dioxide, and they breathe out oxygen, and we breathe oxygen, so we need it too. But initially, we did all that process with ourselves. That's okay, now you do that part. And the bees do this part, and the ants do this part. See? Because we start at the beginning of the ocean, that's why it says, make our own the cream of the planet Earth. Right? God of the universe, that means we start at the beginning and center of Earth and rose to the top, cream. See, Elijah Muhammad was given mathematics. Muhammad gave him mathematics. He didn't give him no philosophy. He gave him mathematics. because that's what was needed for that time. And I understand those. See, the people that claim they believe those, they have to recite those scriptures. They don't believe that stuff. They say, "Oh, I got to recite to get in," but they don't understand it. They have no idea what that stuff's talking about. I can go into all kinds of stuff with it. Anyway, you understand, brothers and sisters? So, and then eventually, you start with small ones, more complicated as the universe expands, because tension gets greater and greater and greater, until eventually, 6,000 years ago, we brought out somebody almost equal to us, a beast that would speak to us, but from the earth. Similar, that's what we call mankind. And now, the last to come out, the first to go back. Right? So now we're about to take them back out, take them off the planet. Right? And back until we get back to the beginning again. Understand? So that's the way it works. We understand that, brothers and sisters. So, like I said, at this point we have very low energy, so we couldn't maintain ourselves anymore. We could not maintain civilization. Remember, they lack us, but they don't require as much energy as us, because they have a lower frequency. Higher frequency, more energy you need. The higher your frequency, the more energy you need. The lower your frequency, the less energy you need. They got lower energy, they need much energy. So that means they could go out and control, rule. But we didn't lie to you, we didn't have enough, because everybody gets the same amount of energy. But now with energy returning, we're starting to vibrate at a higher level. Right? See? And Suleiman's providing that vibration energy. See? Which is greater than their energy. It's going to cause them to crush them, our resistance. And we're going to transform, keep transforming. Right? Because we're high frequency, we can absorb every, right? Every frequency, every vibration. And what is music? Music is vibrations. What vibrations we're rocking to right now? Our music. Even demons copy our music. Right? They can do it better than anybody else, but that's vibrations. Our vibrations rocking the world. That's music. But I'm showing you an example because this 50-year phase, I'm trying to show you this 50-year phase in process. So 1860s, right? We got our first burst of positive energy, right? So we started singing the blues because we had the blues that time. We were coming out of there, we're breaking out of chains, and we didn't know anything. We had control of anything. We know east from west, right? We over here, and it's foreign land around strange people. So we had the blues. That was our frequency was vibrating at that time. Vibrating at a lower frequency at that time. See, blues is a lower frequency. You see people saying blues, man, don't get you rocking and stuff. It's lower frequency. It might give you the blues. Most times you get blues. You ain't out there popping and dancing over the blues. Right? See? More reflection and stuff. Right? And then what happened? Okay, let's go. That was Industrial Revolution at the same time. Now I've got this backwards because I want to show the music side of it, right? Because the music reflects our attitude, our emotion at the time, and weather. I'm not going to get to weather. But weather also is weather comes from my emotions, bro. It says weather is vibrations, it's currents, and right now that's why you got all this crazy weather because I have people waking up and they're angry. They don't know it yet, but they don't want to cause all this crazy weather. Crazy for them. Our people waking up and angry. And the weather reflecting the anger of our nations waking up. It's going to get worse. Because the day of wrath has come. Pharaoh watched the way he had no idea what he was talking about. That's the revolution. That came from us. I'm not going to get to the whole idea about explaining why all the innovation came from us, because America's the only country on the planet that truly got innovation because we're here. That's another story. Anyway, so our mind, remember, we vibrate in a higher plane now, so out of our mind, because we're causing them, we're affecting the way they think. Remember, thought is vibrations, it's pressure. So we're affecting the way they think. They're affecting the way we think too, because they're trying to keep us thinking low pressure, low vibrations, but our vibrations starting a high frequency in theirs. See, they had us going on a lower frequency when we had enough energy. If energy goes down, your frequency go down. right? In other words, if there's less money out there, if you got a freak that one person comes to Walmart every hour, right? But if the inflation goes up, it's going to come like every 2 hours, every 3 hours, right? Because less energy, right? So your frequency goes down, less energy. Our frequency was lower than theirs. So they had a higher frequency than us. Not by nature, they had a higher frequency than us because our frequency was lower because we had less energy. They lowered our frequency, right? So now our frequency caught up, catching up to theirs. And now it's exceeding theirs. That's what angel is going to give you energy, right? Converting energy to your current energy to your vibration level, to your frequency, right? That's what Suleiman is doing. Converting the energy that we're getting now from, because we're in this process, this 50 years I'm telling you about, the earth is already absorbing it and it's converted to a form we can use. And Suleiman's taking that energy and converting it, putting it on your frequency, right? Energy on your, so you can start vibrating at higher frequency. Okay? He's bringing you up. Okay? So that boy, then I'll thought, because that one thing is say mother innovation is the mother of invention. I mean, no necessity. Who had more necessity in the Industrial Revolution than us? Because we want to get on. We want to operate on a higher frequency. We don't want to be in the field no more. We don't want to be in to begin with. But we already now we had enough energy to be out of the field, and so we came up with high raise the frequency, the energy frequency level. So now the frequency level in America was raised. Industrial Revolution. The frequency in America is very high right now. The pressure's high. Higher than any place in the world. But it's causing them to crack. And it's elevating us. I'm trying to get you to understand this stuff mathematically, brothers and sisters. Raise your frequency. Now it's more productive. Okay, more productive. So we raise your frequency level. So we weren't in the fields anymore. You understand? That's revolutions. That came from us. But also caused a war. War is high frequency. Right? That means temperature's raising. That's high frequency, right? Frequency raised. It means you got more collisions in pressure field. You raise just like a pressure pot. You get more collisions, right? There you go, Civil War. See, all these things work together, brothers, just at the same time. Civil War. You create the energy level, so now you got a war, conflict. One of the greatest wars America had because you get killed more people die in the Civil War than any other war they had, right? See what I'm saying? I'm trying to show you how these things work together, brothers and sisters, right? See? And at the same time, I want to connect Africa to this too, because I want to show you something at the end, the point here. So you can read this at your leisure, right? But Africa became more energized too. And it tells you improving medicine inventions such as machine guns, steamboat, open for the European conquest and interior Africa, right? Europeans, right? Their energy raised up, so they went in Africa with their higher vibrations, right? But of course, Africa to vibrate a little higher too. Everybody's operating, but that's the effect it has in Africa, right? Because now you got Africa's vibrating higher, but you got the devil's vibrating higher, so now you got the two frequencies in conflict with each other, right? Let's move on. Then come the 20s, the next level. Probably 50 years later, remember, probably 50 years, right? Another music, jazz. That's much higher frequency than for blues. You can move it to that one. Higher frequency. It's still music, but it's higher frequency than blues is. Jazz. See, higher frequency. See, that came from us. See, understand, brothers and sisters? That came from us again. See? The world's brought through our frequencies. And then that's the electrical revolution, right? Electricity, cars and stuff, increase the energy level. That came out of mind too, right? See? So it's hard for them to enslave us. Because see, they didn't need you in the fields no more. There's an industrial revolution. See? So now, right, you can work in plants, and they got industry, automotive, all that kind of stuff. And people move around, and more energy, higher level. 1920s. I understand, brothers and sisters. These are not a coincidence. But then what? That kicked an even greater war. The world wars. The world wars. World War I, World War II. More collisions, greater collisions. More powerful weapons, more energetic weapons. Put it that way. More energetic weapons. World War I, World War II culminating in what? A nuclear explosion. Nuclear age. See? I probably should maybe call it a nuclear age, but no. It would have been that, but I'm going to keep it electrical. Right? But it heralded nuclear age. See, more energy. Okay? 20s. But let me back up now. In the 1880s, right, you had a division. Okay, let me say this, bro. Says we have a hybrid nation in America. Now, biologically, right, you had the original people here and you had the devils, right? Two nations, right? But then you got a mixture between the two. But the mixture wasn't even, because it wasn't a two-way situation. It wasn't us putting our seed in them, it's they're putting our seed in us. So now you got a hybrid nation, right? That's a mixture of both of us, but it's them, it's their children, because they're the seed. But what they did is they said, no, they're our children. They lump them with us. Those are demons. They're their children, but they categorize it by skin tone for the most part. So there's a hybrid nation, they pushed in with us. See? So when this happened, remember that went on for raping our women for hundreds of years, right? But when 1860s came in, right? Okay, you got more energy, but you got a hybrid nation there that's part of our nation, but they gonna be operating on different frequencies. Even though they may look like us, they operate on different frequency. They operate on a lower frequency than we are. So they have more disposable income, so to speak, more disposable energy, because they don't need that much energy to vibrate, so the rest of the energy, everybody gets the same amount of energy. So the rest of the energy they can use to control the other things with, but we need all the energy we got, we need it, right? For our energy requirements, right? So even though it was with us and characterized us, they still vibrate on different principles. So what happens? So you had original people, they tried to get away from Master. The demons, they operate on the same frequency as Master. They want to stay with Master, sharecroppers and carrying on. They want to stay with Master. I'm trying to explain to you in terms of frequency, brothers and sisters, and vibrations. They vibrate on the same frequency. They want to stay. Original people want to get away. They operate on different frequencies altogether. See, demons, they love dogs and all this kind of stuff, right? See, they try to get us into that stuff too. But you think dog is one of their children or something. Okay? So then the 20s, so they got basically in the general sense, city slickers and the country slickers. Country people was mostly sharecroppers. Well, incidentally, when they first started sharecropping, it was the same thing when they was in chain slavery. I mean, I'm not as far as picking cotton and stuff, but as far as we treat them, raping them, beating them, and torturing them, like I said, they're still doing the same thing. And the icons are who? See, think about it. Let me take a little segue here. You talking about Jesus. Okay, that Jesus they talking about, that's Satan masquerading around as angel of light. Go look at the works. That Jesus said, look at their works. What's their works? They said God gave them this country. Did he? They stole it. God told them to commit genocide on all his inhabitants. Did he tell them to do that? Right? Didn't he tell them to kidnap us and murder us and rape us and all the stuff they did for 40 years? They can put that on God? Or is those the works of Satan? Because that's where they worship Satan. See? That's where they worship Satan. They got picture. No. Anyway, so that was 1860. Then 50 years later, now you got a divide again between them and us. They vibrate on a lower frequency. So they want to stay with Master. They want to start thinking Eurocentric. Because that's what they think anyway. Eurocentric. Because that's what Master think. They think on the same frequency as Master. Right? But we was operating on the same frequency too because we didn't have enough energy. Our nature allows us to operate on a higher frequency. We was operating on the same frequency as them because we had enough energy to operate. Man, it takes energy to operate high. The higher, more energy, the higher frequency you operate. If you have the ability to operate at a higher frequency, you get more energy. They can't operate on a higher frequency. They can get more wealth and more money, whatever they want, but they can't operate on high. They can't go above the energy level, their frequency level, because that's their nature. Says okay, their frequency is maybe 50 megahertz. Was that the word I'm using? Is that megahertz? Well, I'm saying megahertz. I think I said it right? Frequency is 50 megahertz, right? Ours is 1,000 megahertz. Well, that's their nature. They can't go higher than that. See, they get more energy. They do other things with it, but their frequency can't go higher than that. Our frequency keep going. But if we ain't got enough energy, then we operate on 50 megahertz just like they are. You get more energy, we go to the next 60, 70, 80, right? But they can't. You get more, you understand what I'm saying? So they become billionaires and all that kind of stuff, a lot of money, but no increase here, right? So in the 1920s, right, Eurocentric and Afrocentric. So we got Master Muhammad Pierce, Noble Ali, Morris Garvey, raise that frequency a little higher. See, and some was able to raise the Levites to a higher level of frequency. You understand what I'm saying? So that was happening there. See? So they was thinking they had more energy, so right? They think on the same level of massa, because they're the same frequency. We start moving to a higher level. And then when it comes to Africa, right, again, we're going to connect with Africa, right? Then what is known as the Great War breaks out in Europe, right? So you have a liberation movement in Africa, so they start moving to a higher frequency too. They think on a higher frequency too. But their frequency, they was taking a higher frequency to us, right? They can't, say we can go to, say our basically just look at it this way. Say our frequency is 1,000, we can operate 1,000. So the Africans, they operate maybe 800, right? And say maybe the Asians can operate up to 600, right? See, the megahertz, and so Orientals, so I said 10, 8, 6, 4, 400 or 4,000, whatever. Say okay, 1,000, we can operate 1,000, Africans 800, Asians 600, Orientals 400, Europeans 200. That's their maximum levels. So Africans, they start moving, but they had them operating on the 200 level. The Europeans had everybody operating on 200 level forever. Then people started moving on a higher level now. And they vibrate at a high level. And America's picking those vibrations up, right? Those vibrations greater than America's reaction rate. Am I making sense to you, brothers and sisters? Everybody's operating up, and that's because America starts shaking. See? We gotta go to war, we gotta do is shaking. You know, because glass is shaking because it's about to crack. Because everybody operating a higher frequency in America. And America's trying to absorb all the frequency they can't. They can't absorb all the frequency. See? So say everybody's operating right now, say everybody's operating on Oriental level, which is 400, right? America's reaction rate is not enough, right? But we move it up to, so Orientals, so they go higher, because frequency's getting higher and higher, right? That's what you're seeing, bro. So I'm trying to help you understand this, right? Then the 60s came in. Well, that was even more energetic than I had jazz. You see? The music it's not just different music, it's different frequencies. Not just different music, those who understand music, understand what I'm talking about. It's different frequencies. This is a more higher frequency than jazz was and blues was. Then you have to disco. You're really doing it now, man, right? All this stuff flipping around, right? Because it's much higher energy. Much higher energy. Right? See? So now we start operating at a higher frequency. So what happened there? right? We go from now, we're from sharecropper and seed slickers, right? To Eurocentric and Afrocentric, and now, right? Integration, separation. We want to get the hell away. They want to get closer, right? Because they still operate on the same frequency as Master, and they want to get away from us because we cause a problem for them. Because we operate on higher frequency than them, and they want to get away from us because we cause a problem for them too. See? Because lower frequency want to get away from higher frequency. Because they can feel, right? It bothers them. It hurts them. That's why some of these brothers be blown away with these cops and everything. Because the way we talk, the way I sound, we sound like a lion to them. It trembles because their hearts to tremble. Because we had higher frequency. You hear how they talk on lower frequency, even the males talk on lower frequency. See? It's not like women. Not saying women it's bad. It's not anything wrong with women's voice. No, it's not wrong with a woman's voice if it's women. If you're a man, you should be talking like a woman, right? If you're a woman, you should be talking like a man, right? So the thing is that they operate on lower frequency, and so we sound like even the sisters have a higher frequency voice than they have. Even the sisters do, because your voice also tells about your frequency. Because remember, that's where your voice, that's you're coming from your frequency. That's what your vocal cords are vibrating. There's so much we can go into on this, brothers and sisters, right? So that's what's happening here. So now, I'm in a higher frequency, right? And so you have a bigger clash now between the clash between blacks and white becoming greater. It's greater now because it gets higher frequency and so it got higher temperature. And so now everything's moving around faster and faster and faster. They're saying Daniel said everything moved faster and faster and faster during that time because that means everything's increasing. Higher frequency. Let's see where this goes. That's computer age. Now everything's faster now. Information's faster. Computer age. See? Higher frequency. More energy. What happens? Understand? Computer age. What does that mean to us? Okay? Let me stop here. Now remember, they because they operate in lower frequency, that doesn't mean stupid. So the thing is, they knew that we got more energy, we operate at a higher frequency than them. So they tried to keep us from operating at a higher frequency by what? Because when the computer age came in, right, they found that we was the best. They just studied, some of you may be aware of it, they found that we'd be best at this industry, they call it SIC codes, standard industrial codes. Carter was president, they did a study when computer age came in, the best demographics would be best demographics for this industry because when industry come in, they wanted to prepare people for it. They found that we are best suited to do that because you have to operate at a higher frequency. And we could do it. We're better than them. And they said they ain't gonna let that happen. So they knew it was operating at a higher frequency. They didn't know we were operating at a higher frequency than them because we can learn faster everything else. That's why they said we gotta stop them operating at a higher frequency. Self-imposed energy deprivation keep you operating at a lower frequency by diverting your energy to something else rather than learning. Because your frequency will be higher and then you destroy them. So they did. They went all out to dumb you. They already wasn't teaching much anyway, but they dumb it down and then they sent all the jobs, industrial jobs, over to China to keep you from getting it, to keep your energy low. Then China got big. That's how China got powerful. Because they went and they put prison for you, to put you in prison where they can control your energy level. That's what they did. Because they understand this part, they might understand the freaks like I'm telling you, but they understand that if we get energized, there's trouble for them. So they made sure we didn't. So they sent all the jobs, everything they could over. Why did they do that to China? They said, oh, China is strong. How they got strong? They sent all the jobs over there. They destroyed Detroit, every place with black folks. So, because this is the effort. See, I didn't really go into this much, but maybe I'm going to when I do a follow-up, I'm going into more detail. or how they react to this in relation to us. See, I haven't talked about that. How the reaction is in this relationship. I'm talking about on this point because their reaction to this, higher energy, right? They're trying to keep our energy lower by sending all jobs. Because remember, they control the quality of our energy sent over to China. So now China became strong because now their frequency raised up. So now, see, so they didn't help themselves. See, because energy transference didn't change the situation. It changed the quality of it. It changed 8 from 5 to 3 to 2 plus 6 is still 8. So now China is the one, because we would have been powerful. That's what they was afraid of. We would be powerful, take over America. Now China is the powerful, and it's going to take over America. They can't stop it, but I'm just trying to show you the mathematics behind it. You got to start thinking mathematically, brothers and sisters. And that's coming by war too. They say more people was killed in Vietnam, American were killed in America than even in World War II. Vietnam. They threw everything they could at that. Went all in. Another war. More conflict. Which also caused conflict here. See, I keep telling you, the war's coming now, it's going to affect there, overseas and here. Because the Vietnam War affected America too, because you had all that energy spilled over here in America. All the riots and all that kind of stuff, and you had, right, the civil rights movement, which we always talk about that, but you also had civil unrest amongst your own people. You understand, brothers and sisters? Energy levels rising. And then Africa, what happened in Africa? Remember, these are periods you can check. These periods, right, these are phases, and they happen approximately every 50 years. What happened? This year is known as the Year of Africa. Much of former French colonies, empire was falling apart. In other words, they start breaking the chains of colonialism and everything else. See, they have a higher level energy vibration. We have our natural vibration level is much higher than theirs, but they operate on a higher level because, right, they still have their country, they still have, they're all broken up, right? See? But they have more power than we have, right? Because, like I said, they don't need as much energy, so they have them out to turn the energy into power. And they have discipline. So now they become independent, but not as one nation yet, right? Because that's what China wasn't when it came together as one nation, so did India. As energy levels rose. Because when the British went there, India wasn't one nation. It wasn't one language. Now they are completely united under one language now. And China is also united. So, and you understand? We can talk that in terms of this cycles too, but I'm not going to go to that today. So finally here, now we're in the middle of another 50 year. Remember? 1860s, 1960s, 2020s, 1920s, 2020s. Probably 50 years, right? So new music is about to come out. More high energy than even the disco. It's going to be very high energy. It's about to come out. It's going to be very high energy music. It's going to have you, wow, you're going to be like, almost like, you're going to have so much energy, it's going to really have you rocking. It's going to really have you energized. Old folks probably be rocking. This is about to break loose, brothers and sisters. You're going to hear it in a minute. It reflects our energy. So much energy that they ain't going to be able to control us anymore. We're going to break freedom altogether, separate. But it's also going to affect the demons too. They have a lot of energy, but remember their vibration level is not going to increase anymore. They have a lot of energy though. And they're going to unite, and that's what caused the war of Armageddon here. They call it the Locust War in Revelations. See, they're going to unite. They have high energy. They're going to have a lot of energy. But the devil's going to have a lot of energy too. But the problem is, they're being crushed by it. So they're going to be confused and angry, and it's going to be a famine. But they have a lot of energy though, but it's crushing them. And it's crushing the demons to some extent too, but not as much as that because they got some structure, because they still got some of us in them. Structurally wise, not natural, not nature. See? But this energy is going to give us so much energy they ain't going to be able to control us anymore. Lavera's going to totally wake up. I call it the music Paradise. Paradise. That's what I'm calling it. You haven't heard it yet, but I'm gonna give it a name. Paradise. When paradise, when they break loose of paradise, who's gonna come with it? It's gonna be so in it, and you ain't gonna hear anything like it before. Now you never, those of you that were in my generation, you know when Motown came, you never heard anything like that before. You heard that stuff, Nat King Cole stuff, and Sam Cooke, that right? You never heard anything like Motown, never. You heard that? Oh man, everybody was like, energized black folks. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. Paradise. See, you're going to hear it in a minute. See? Because when I wake up, that music always going to come out at the same time. Right? But Armageddon be right with it. Could be so much energy. Be so much energy in America, it's going to be burned down, blown up. America's the only country, except for maybe Britain, that's going to be nuked. It says, remember, in Malachi, they will come to earth with birds of the oven. That means that's a lot of heat. That's what it's talking about. Energy is going so great. Remember, because the energy is so great, they can't control it. Think this deeply now. We can have energy, we can control it, we got discipline to control it. So that transforms us to another point. But the demons, the devils ain't going to be able to control the energy. So if you control energy, it blows up. You get the connection here, brothers and sisters? If you can't control energy, it blows up. Nuclear. That's how much energy is going to be in America. But they ain't going to be able to control it. And it's going to crush and burn them up. But we control it, manage it. So that means those that go through, that's not what happened to after tribulation. Those people that's left behind, they get through it. Because they're going to do exploits. They got so much energy, they're going to do exploits. You get the pattern, brothers and sisters, they got so much energy. But they get left behind because they still have knowledge of self, they still have knowledge of the devil, so they got to go through tribulation because they can't come home unless they can't be no blind elephants. They got to, right? So they're going to go to tribulation. After tribulation, though, boom, that's when this happens, right? They're going to do exploits, they're going to be super energetic. And walk to the first, not a hair on their hair, but they will not burn them, right? No, we'll be home. So we have enough energy, we're going to take our land back. See? We'll be vibrating on a high level then. It means our mind's going to be higher level than everybody else's then. Because right now we was on a lower level than everybody else. Now we're going to be on a higher level vibrating, right? That means we cause everybody else to vibrate. And their reaction level is lower. That means, right? The lower it is, the more they blow up. The more they crush. Vibration, no crack, like the glass. Right? The other ones, they start vibrating. That's fear. Go fear in them. See, they start singing. We start talking. We don't operate on fear. We got fear. The whole planet's going to fear us, especially our women. Am I making it clear enough for you, brothers and sisters? We have fear and all. That's why it says the animals are fear for us. Because we vibrate at a high level. Why would animals have a natural? The Bible says they have a natural fear of us. Why would they have it? Because we vibrate at a higher level. We don't have that fear of us now. We're just vibrating at a lower level. But we're going to put fear in other nations. We're vibrating at a level because our frequency is higher than theirs. And eventually they'll all be gone. Because the frequency is so high, they won't be able to stand. All of them will crack eventually. Do you understand, brothers and sisters? Make it clear enough? I'm trying to make clear for you, brothers and sisters. Right? AI age comes in the same time. Now, right now, if there's a thing with Elon Musk and all of the high-tech giants, the Congress tell them, hold it back, hold it back. I told you they had AI, they had it for a long time. Right? You go to Walmart's place, don't need. One of the reasons why they tell them hold it back, because they say this ain't going to happen. That's why I said these days have been cut short, or no soul be left alive. Because if they release it, because they sent me, asked me to be one of the people that tested. I got you won't believe me, I don't care if you believe me or not, but I got the email. I'm not even touching it, because nobody asked me. Because when you go in there, and AI does everything for you. If you want to report, it'll do a report for you. If you want to study something, right? If you want to, whatever, you have no idea what this stuff can do, right? I know. I've worked AI for many years, right? Artificial intelligence, but they want you to test out. And the reason why they asked me, because they know how to ask the questions. They think a terrorist or a jihadi or somebody would ask. They want to be able to, anticipate. So I ain't touching it. I ain't going nowhere near it. I know what they said to me, right? They know everything I'm doing. They watch everything. They recording everything I say right now. They listen to everything. Got my phone tapped, everything. I know. I ain't worried about them because I vibrate on high. I told you, it's a mind war. We just fighting the atmosphere. My vibration level is much higher than theirs. See, and every time you get close to me, right? There's a conflict between two vibrations, but I always win. See, I always win. 'Cause my vibration level is higher than theirs. So they keep coming at me. They come at me many times. See, they can't. They need to destroy me and operate on a higher frequency, and they can't do it. Anyway, the reason why I'm trying to stop it because you've been, like I said, you've been Walmart. They don't need you. And that's the other thing. So one only thing they can do is get rid of you. That's no story for another time, brothers and sisters. Get rid of you. Now I said the interaction between us and them when this comes in, that's why they plan to get rid of you right now. After I saw 60 Minutes last Sunday, they say they're making artificial limbs that I can touch, can feel. I told you that years ago. They've been doing that. That's cyborg. That's a whole nother. I'm not going to diverge into that, brothers and sisters. Because like I said, so much time talking. I want to keep focused on this, right? Another age. So we went to all the different ages, right? That's where we're at. AI age right now. We have to get rid of you. And how is that going to affect them in Africa, right? See, AI age means their plan is to get rid of you because they can't. No need for you anymore. They're not going to send you a check. Like this guy was saying, the president. The polarization of Africa. Africa is split in two parts. Islamic Africa is going to unite into two polar regions. Islamic Africa and non-Islamic Africa. That's what's about to happen. What's going to happen now? During this energy phase, this energy wave we're receiving now. It's momentous in the heavens and earth, but it comes above a sudden. So there's a process. All this stuff is a process happening right now. That music I told you about, age is booming. It's moving so fast that you got the top tech guys in Congress this week telling them they need to hold it back, right? Armageddon, even Farrakhan talking about Armageddon the war. He don't know what he's talking about, right? All this stuff is on progress right now. All the countries are vibrating at a high level in America. America's confused, because they're about to shatter. They're shaking every institution, everything. They mind everything. It's shaking. See, because everybody's operating a higher plane than America. See, and now Slav is about to wake up. When he wakes up, he's gonna move to a high level, right? We're going to subdue all the nations because we operate in a higher frequency than everybody else. Until they all crush all the nations. That's what it said. Crush them all. Operate in a higher frequency. Because we can go unlimited. To the ends of the universe. Every 72 trillion years. Understand, brothers and sisters? So here's their brain under pressure. See what's happening? It's crushing it. Because the frequency is too high. The pressure too great. It's crushing their brains. It's crushing it. That's why they're so confused. They can't tell a male was a male or female. Not only are they saying that, but they trying to attack your ability to think logically because they trying to track your hardware. If you got hardware and you start messing with the logic circuits and everything, then no matter what kind of operating system you got, right? It's not going to operate properly. But our brains, right? See? We start operating at a higher frequency, start producing stuff. I'm just showing this here. This technology we'll not be using in hereafter. We're nothing like this. I'm just showing, right, innovation, because while their brains are being crushed, right? Ours operating at a higher frequency to the level they are right now. So we'll understand all this stuff. Then we can move to this level. So make all things new, right? But they had to operate at a lower frequency. So now we operate at a frequency on their level. And so we can do all this stuff they're doing, and then we're going to move to higher. It's all things new, all things new. None of this stuff. It says none of this stuff will be involved. None of it. We'll be operating at a higher frequency. But while they're being crushed. You understand, brothers and sisters? And let me say this last thing, brothers and sisters. Now remember I was saying that if they hybrid nation, they got us all mixed together. Like mixing water and milk. Nobody wants to drink water and milk mixed together. But if you let it sit long enough, the milk will separate from the water. The water will be sit on top of the milk. Then you can take the water up and drink the water. You can drink it, it won't be any milk in it. You can drink the milk, there won't be any water in it, so it'll be pure, right? But if they mixed up, nobody wants it. That's happened because they mixed in with us, so they keep us impudent and them impudent too, because, right? So and then we got counter frequencies mixed all together. So that means it's gonna be earthquake, gonna be shaking, because you got two frequencies and they fighting against each other because they're different. They're not canceling out each other. Well, it's to some extent they are. Well, it will be canceling each other if we're on the same level as them. But the point is, you got the two conflicting frequencies, and so therefore, right? It's not right. You don't have resonance. Remember, resonance has to be right, like harmony. You don't have harmony, right? So we are at war with each other. We don't trust each other because we look like each other, so we start to trust each other, right? The lambs don't trust the lambs because they got wolves in there that looks like lambs, and so now lambs don't trust lambs. They don't know who's who. They see lambs come missing. They see lambs acting like wolves, and lambs associated with wolves. Why you hanging out with wolves? I thought you was a lamb, right? See? So you got all this confusion. But see, now the energy increases, the frequency increases, so now the two clashes enough to push them apart. Two frequencies, they're so different because we move to higher frequency. See, as long as we're near theirs, right? But once we move to higher frequency, right, that pushes it, the conflict is great enough to push us apart. That's why Suleiman is giving a high, increasing that frequency of Lazarus, right, to a frequency that's opposed to that frequency, force them apart. Okay. This was about to happen. That Suleiman would see demons are real things. See, Farrakhan, he's a chief demon. So once they're separated, right, now they're powerful. Because everybody, now you got resonance. Because everybody's on the same frequency, and the saints, or demons on the same frequency, they have resonance. So they're powerful now. And so we get the hell out of here. They want to stay in with Daddy, but now Daddy, they're on the same frequency, right? But Daddy don't like them. That skin tone thing, that's another story altogether. So now they fight with each other, but they outnumbered. So it's going to be a war of attrition, right? Because they outnumbered. There's 17 million of them, but it's like 300 million of them. But it's going to be a tense war. They're going to tear the whole country apart. This whole story about Samson. He was enslaved like we were. His eyes were returned from him. His eyes were put out of his knowledge. And then, so when he got his strength back, he brought down the kingdom and killed some in the process. That's what's about to happen. They're going to destroy all the cities. It's not going to be a civil war. It's not going to be a riot stuff. It's going to be a total war between demons and devil. That's called Locust War in Revelation. It's going to tear this country apart, all the cities and everything else. While they're also at war, there's Armageddon over here, also at war in Europe, Armageddon over there. And while all this going on, that's when China, right, with higher frequency, going to move in and wipe this country out. But we won't be here. We'll be home, up at higher frequency, and we'll be in conflict with our half brothers Ishmael, but our frequency is higher. They can move to higher frequency too. You see? But the point is, we got the frequency that's in tune with the times. We got the angel. They got the Quran. Remember, it has to be in tune. That frequency has to be in tune, right, for that time period. And theirs ain't, and ours is. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I hope I'm not confusing anybody by that last statement I made, right? Because remember, they can't operate, they can't go as far as we can go, but they're original, right? See? So they can be operating near the same frequency we are, but the difference is, right, is that remember, the book they give you has to be in the sync. Okay, you operate at a certain frequency, but the frequency has to be, how should I say it? When I get too technical here, has to be in tune with that time, right? Let me say it, maybe just a simple way. If you say, what's the frequency of people coming to Walmart, right? Say one per day, right? And that's summertime. And say one per day coming wintertime. Well, it's still the same frequency, right? Right? But it's different phase. Phase is different because one's winter and one's summer. And it takes more energy to come in during the winter than during the summer, right? You see what I'm saying? Same frequency. One per hour. But it takes more energy, right? For that 1 per hour, they gotta warm their car up, they gotta wear more clothes and everything else, right? So the point is, if you coming in, right, like the same frequency that you came in during the summer, in the wintertime, you might not make it, right? Because you ain't got enough, you probably freeze there before you get there. You understand, bro? I don't leave it like that. I don't want to get too complicated. So I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I think that's it. That's it, brothers and sisters. It says special presentation. Like I told you, I'm giving you the math. We're getting closer and closer. It happens any day now. I want you to start thinking mathematically. Calculus is the language of mathematics. Not algebra, not Arabic. Arabic is the grammar. Calculus is the, they speak very kindergarten calculus, right? We're going to speak super calculus. They speak very low, but that's the best they can do, right? Like, a child, he speaks English, but child does English. We go, math problem, Muhammad speaks calculus too, but look what he's able to do, right? So understand that. Understand that principle. See? So start learning calculus and language. As a trigonometry, those are software that complements the language. They got verbs and adverbs and nouns and pronouns, right? But calculus is the language. Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. So I think in that way, they understand the scriptures. When they say lion, right, they say God, you understand why they said that way for that particular time. Understand, hope you understand, brothers. I'm going to leave it there. Wow. I didn't mean to talk that long, brothers and sisters, but this is a lot of stuff to talk about. I wanted to make you understand it. Because we're going home, brothers and sisters. We're going home. Like with the master from, brothers and sisters, I'm getting tongue-tied and everything these days. What did Master Farad Muhammad say? Right? You want to be successful, learn a mathematical language. You will not return to have thorough knowledge of self. Put it together, brothers and sisters. Can you add? Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Judge Suman Rahim here. Messenger of the Covenant. Breaker of the 7 seals. Crusher. Brothers and sisters, get out. Get out. America is about to blow. Hear the rumbling? See the smoke? Sparks? All over the place in every aspect of it. This is unprecedented. Arresting a president, right? Or former president. Unprecedented, right? Unprecedented financial collapses, right? Social unrest, political unrest, economic unrest. Every aspect of this society is under intense pressure. I've been telling you that for years. I tell you, it's getting greater and